Hey there, Nordic race fans. We're going to build a marker holder using some simple 3/4 inch PVC. Those of you at our race already know what this looks like. Have a gun to show a quick representation, although this isn't the right gun and it doesn't fit quite as nicely as our ones from our competition, but that's the basic idea right there. Basic composition of what I call it is a square and 2 goal posts. The components are all laid out here just like that right now. Pieces of styrofoam for it to cushion into. So we'll take that off. And we'll stick it on the other one when we get done. But anyway, we'll throw this guy together now. So start with my square to begin with. I like to glue the square using each end first. Put that down. When I glue this one on, I set it in and then I set it down on the table while the glue is setting up to get it nicely aligned. Same thing on the other half. Slip that glue on, you set it on the table, twist it down, it stays nice and flat, and we got it nice and square again. Pretty easy then to glue these 2 pieces in, and they're obviously straight as it is. Then this becomes a double glue. You've got to get them both ready at the same time. Slip that baby in, they glue together, and then you want to set it down on the table again so it's nice and flat while that glue sets up. So there you go. We got the square done. Let's go to our big goal post. What's unique about these goal posts is because of the dimension I wanted, the T has to be cut down. You can see that it's about a 1/2 inch or so shorter on each side. So that's what I would advise to cut down. Somewhere about, you're going to cut about 7/16 of material off. That means you've also got to cut really short little nipples here. In the case here, these are the 1.5 inches on the list. These are a little bit tricky to cut and put in when they're this small. What I would recommend doing is sanding the outside surface just a little bit so they're just a little bit smaller in dimension. How to do that is I would put your pipe into the vise, grab some heavier sand grit paper, maybe 100 or something like that, work it over with a little bit like this, smooth it with a finer, maybe a little 120 or something. Gets it nice and smooth, and then you just cut off your pieces as you need them there. That's easier than trying to sand those little pieces after the fact. Then that way they'll slip in a lot easier when you go to glue them. So I've obviously glued this part together already. Glue in that nipple. Take this guy, and we're going to slip it in. You're shooting for a 20-degree angle here. In this case, I would have this sitting on the table or something like that. I'd lay it down beside it while my glue's setting up. I would get it lined up and just match it. Pretty simple to do. And then we just do the same thing on the other one. Get them both on, make sure they're lined up, and bingo, we got it. Again, that was about a 20-degree angle. The small goal post in the front, because of it being even more narrow, was more difficult. I cut off the elbows as well as the T's. So your elbow is about that much shorter as well. Again, it's about a 7/16 we've chopped off of that and this, so we end up with this effect rather than something that's that big. Obviously, a huge difference between those two. Short little nipples to work with here. A little bit tricky, like I mentioned, so they'll be fun to glue in. But once you got them, not bad. You're going to have to do the same thing here to eyeball in. This would probably be done differently on a flat surface with this one. But since I already have it made up, that's the way I'm doing it. And then you would end up gluing that one to match it. Easy to do without glue for my demonstration, obviously. And bingo, 2 goal posts. So now what we're going to do to finish it up is you just glue your goal posts onto the square. That one like so, that one like so, And for me, I would just take these when the glue was setting up. I'd look at them straight from above to get them at a nice 90 degree before that glue set up. And there's the basics. Again, we would throw foam on there for the padding, and I use zip ties to hold those on. And of course, if you already remember, these things are setting on the pipes in the snow, like so. So, if by chance you're going to be using these someplace where you don't have, you could put a pipe in very easily, then it wouldn't be that big of a deal to make little stands. I've just grabbed some parts here, and you can do something like that and slip them into. No need to glue that fitting, obviously. Because with the PVC, they'll set up just fine, and you can just make legs out as far as you need to make it as stable as you want. I think that's, yeah. One other thing I can mention here, if you're interested, I think it's a bit of overkill, but I did it just because I didn't want to get to a race and feel sorry or be worried about this thing falling over snow. So I created a stabilizing post here off to the side. I heated it with a heat gun and put a drilled it, and then while it was cooling, I formed it over that. And now all I have to do is just hook it into that screw hole. And we've got a real nice stable base by putting in a rod down here, and the thing will set. Again, it's just an absolute just in case if we got to a race, because I really didn't want to have all this work for a race and have these things falling over. So in a nutshell, that's it. Good luck, good racing.